In this video, we're going to be calculating arcs and angles when the vertex of our angle is found inside the circle but not at the center of the circle. So these two, when I'm working with these, they're created by intersecting two chords. And my center is here. And I know that this angle here and the one across from it are vertical angles, which means they have to be equal. But when I look at the arcs, this arc is smaller than this arc. So basically what we have to do is we have to kind of share these. So we're going to average our two arcs together to make the arcs equal. Because when we average something, we take some from the thing that's bigger and give it to the thing that's smaller so that they are the same size. And that'll allow us to have our vertical angles. And what that really does is move our center back to the, move our vertex back to the center of the circle. But since these are my vertical angles here, this is a vertical angle to this, I call these my vertical arcs. So the arcs that correspond to those two vertical angles are what I call my vertical arcs. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to add one of the arcs to the other arc and divide it by 2, and that gives me the angle. So we're just going to try a few of these. All right, so here are my angles. So my arcs that go with them, my vertical arcs are there. So I'm going to add those two arcs together. So my one arc is 100. My other arc over here is 70. So I'm going to add those two together and divide it by 2. So 170 divided by 2 makes 85 degrees. So each one of these vertical angles in the middle would be 85 degrees. If I look at the example on the right, my vertical arcs are the 50 and the 240. So I'm going to add the 50 plus the 240 and divide it by 2. So 290 divided by 2 makes 145 degrees. So each one of these vertical angles in the middle is going to be 145 degrees. If I needed the one next to it, I would simply subtract the 145 from 180, and that would give me my other angle, because those would still be supplementary because they're a linear pair. All right, this one is just a little bit different. We're going to use this same formula, but we have to remember that the angle is equal to the sum of the arcs divided by 2, because in this question, I already know the angle. So in place of that angle, I'm going to put the angle measure, which is the 68 degrees. All right, then I'm going to add my two arcs together, but this time one of my arcs is what I'm missing or what I'm looking for. So we're going to use the x in the equation, and we're going to add the other angle to it, and we're going to divide by 2. So to get rid of this divided by 2, it kind of kicks over here, and we multiply by 2. So 68 times 2 makes 136. And then we have left the x plus 72. So to solve, we're going to subtract the 72 from both sides, and that leaves us 64 for x. So x is 64 degrees. And if you notice, this is the average, so the 68 needs to be in between the 72 and the 64. It should be evenly in the middle. All right, so let's try another one like that. So this is our angle. Our angle equals our arc plus our arc divided by 2. So the angle is what I know, so that's my 98. My arcs are x plus 122 divided by 2. So I need to get rid of this 2, so I'm going to pop it out here, multiply by 2. So 98 times 2 is 196, and that leaves me the x plus 122. And then to solve for this x, I'm going to subtract 122, and that leaves me 74 degrees for x. So this arc over here would be 74. The 98 needs to be in between the 122 and the 74, which it is. All right, so it's going to be your turn to practice a few of these. So when you get each question, start to work on it, pause your video, and then answer your question, and then turn your video back on to check and see whether they're right. All right, so I have my vertex in the center. I'm looking for my angle. So I'm going to add my arc plus my arc and divide it by 2. So my angle equals my arc plus my arc divided by 2. So that gives me 148 divided by 2, which is 74 degrees. So my angle is 74 degrees, and it should be in between the 63 and the 85. All right, here's another one. Pause your video, do your problem, and then turn it back on to check. All right, so the arcs I'm using are the 42 and the 98. So I'm going to average those vertical arcs. So 42 plus 98 divided by 2. So that gives me 140 divided by 2, which is 70. So my angle in the middle is 70 degrees. All right, next question. Now remember, this time we know the angle already. So plug your information into your formula and then pause your video. So angle equals arc plus arc divided by 2. So my angle is the 105. It equals my arc, x, plus my other arc, 73, divided by 2. So we need to get rid of this divided by 2. So we're going to move it over here and multiply. So 210 equals x plus 73, and then we're going to subtract the 73. So x equals 137 degrees. And again, our 105 should be in between the 73 and the 137. All right, last one like that. Plug your information in, pause your video, and then turn it back on to check. So I have my angle. So my angle is 78. It equals my arc plus my arc divided by 2. Pop our 2 over here. So 2 times 78 is 156, and x plus 110. Subtract my 110, and I get 46 degrees for x. And my angle is in between my 46 and my 110.